Hey, it's Clayton Olson, and in this video, we're going to talk about what to do if your partner won't do the work. Maybe you're in a relationship right now, and you've noticed that you are on a path of self-development, and your partner isn't. The two of you get caught up in the same fights over and over again. Maybe you've done some work on yourself, and you can see so clearly the faults and the shortcomings of your partner, and you're thinking if they would just read this book, if they would just dive into this podcast, if they would just go to therapy with me, couples therapy, our relationship could be turned around and possibly saved. What do you do in that situation? I know that it can feel like a very helpless one to be in. And my imagination says that underneath the video, there's going to be a bunch of comments from people saying, hey, listen, if your partner won't do the work, make sure you run as quickly as possible, get out. You're going to waste years in the wrong relationship, years of your precious life, and you won't be able to get any of that back. Now, I get that, and for some people that might be true. But if you're in a situation right now where it's next to impossible to leave, maybe it's because of finances, perhaps it's because you have children with this person, maybe in your heart you just know the relationship isn't done yet. There's something else that you need to do because you find yourself getting triggered in the dynamic and showing up in a way that you're not actually proud of, then there's still work for you to do on your side of the fence. My invitation to you, if you're in this place right now, is to look at the relationship as a crucible for your own transformation. And as painful as it is, and maybe it is going to end, there's an opportunity to use this as an inflection point to begin to show up like the person you want to show up as and see if you can inspire change or begin to shift the dynamic. Now, there's a popular belief out there that it takes two people to change a relationship. I think that's a half-truth. It does take both people wanting to change. But if we get caught up in the idea that our partner has to change on the same timeline as us, they have to do the work on themselves with the same intensity and the focus as we do at the same time, we can end up throwing away something that could shift. I've seen this happen again and again. Relationships can turn around, but rarely are both people working on it simultaneously with the same intensity. It typically comes in seasons for both people. My invitation to you is, if you have not gone all the way in on your own self-development, if you have not actually made a 100% committed effort to consistently be communicating from a place of secure attachment, from a place of health, power, and love, then there might be still some pieces on the table that you need to investigate before you walk away with no regrets. If you find yourself relating to this dynamic of your partner not changing and you feeling like you're the one who is blazing forward or feeling victimized by your partner's lack of taking responsibility, there's a couple things I want to invite you to begin to look at that can help you begin to shift out of this and start transforming the relationship from the inside out, inside of you, outward into the relationship. There are three positions that you can get caught into when you're in this dynamic and your partner won't change. And they are being the victim, the villain, or the rescuer. The victim, the villain, or the rescuer. I will link to a longer podcast I've done on this in the description if you'd like to learn more about that. But in a nutshell, when we're with somebody and we feel powerless because they won't change, we are often occupying the victim position, meaning that I am powerless. Until they go to therapy, until they watch this podcast, until they change this behavior, I am stuck and I am in a powerless position. Now, without any power, we start to make that person the persecutor. They are the bad guy, I'm the good guy. And if you are caught in this type of conflict, it is very difficult for both of you to pull out into a place of health because you will consistently blame your partner for your lack of powerlessness rather than taking responsibility for the things that you can change and showing up based on the principles of health that you set forth within yourself. And we'll talk more about those in a moment. The other position you might find yourself in is being the persecutor. So now you're the one turning them into the victim. They feel like the victim and you're the one that is trying to perhaps change them or blame them or putting all the responsibility on the relationship's health or lack thereof on them. And again, you are powerless and you will be seen as the persecutor in this, or you are judging them, you are blaming them. You are wanting them to take responsibility and they won't. And you're not taking responsibility for yourself. And then we might slide into the third role, which is very much over-functioning in the relationship, which is being the rescuer or the hero. Or now we are carrying the responsibility of saving the relationship on our shoulders. And we are enabling them to stay stuck in the victim position by over-functioning and doing too much work to keep this going. So the hero says, I can save this, I can fix it, I can help them change, I can be their therapist, I can be their coach, I can get them to heal. Now this is a very codependent dance that we can get stuck in when we start to operate from the hero position, because what we need to do in this place is we actually need to let the other person be where they are at without trying to save and fix them and without trying to blame them either. So we're not going into the hero or the persecutor. And then also not slipping into the victim because they won't change. Rather coming back to our own sense of power, our own sense of alignment and saying, okay, if I'm not occupying any of these positions, the hero, the victim, or the persecutor, where do I want to stand in this current dysfunction? Where do I want to currently stand within myself in this relationship? This is an opportunity for you to continue to step up and make sure that you are showing up in a way that is honest, in a way that is clear, in a way that is responsive, in a way that is loving towards yourself, loving towards the relationship, and also being willing to hold boundaries where they matter. When you realize that you're in one of these positions, how do you get out of them? Well, you get out of them with clean communication. You get out of them by taking responsibility. You get out of them by setting boundaries and being honest. And what essentially we could say all these things constellate into is communicating from a securely attached place within yourself. So looking at the dynamic and asking the question, okay, how am I facilitating this, or how am I enabling this right now? Where am I being reactive? Where am I slipping into a place of over-functioning in the relationship right now? Where am I trying to save them? Where am I trying to do their work for them? Where am I not taking care of myself? Where am I not setting boundaries to take care of my well-being? Where am I putting too much responsibility on them to take care of me? Where am I trying to not rock the boat? Where am I either getting really big and angry and demanding, or where am I getting small and withdrawn and not communicating my truth? What would it look like to stand in my truth from the cleanest place possible and make a request? What would it look like to be able to tell them how I feel without blaming them, but also to ask them for what I need without it being a demand? My encouragement would be to journal on some of these questions, because what you'll find is as you do that, you'll start to see the places where you're off your center. You'll start to see the places where you still have growth and work to do on yourself before you leave this relationship. The beauty of doing this work, the beauty of asking these questions and coming back into a deeper alignment where you're taking responsibility for how you're showing up in the dynamic, where you're eliminating your reactive self that is getting ensnared in a dysfunctional dynamic with them, where you start to actually pause and be more intentional and deliberate with how you're speaking, be more regulated within your emotions to communicate truth to them from a place of love, love of self, love for the relationship, and clarity and honesty. Here's what actually starts to happen. Your partner will start to be confronted by themselves, because when you can clean up any of the distortions on your side of the fence, is having you get ensnared and acting from your lower self, you show up as a very clean and clear mirror for them to see themselves more clearly. Now, if you are all aggravated and triggered and getting caught in these loops of blaming or going into the victim triangle, they won't be able to see themselves. They'll get caught in the dynamic with you. They'll make you the persecutor. They'll feel like the victim, and they won't be able to see themselves. But when you can exit that triangle with some of these strategies, the questions that I'm asking you to journal on, they will start to see the places where they are deceiving themselves, where they are losing their cool, where they are coming off their center. And this might not happen overnight, but the more calm you can be, the more of a reflection, almost like looking into water that is still, they will be able to see the places where they can start to take responsibility, because there's a way in which you're doing that, and they will start to have more freedom and permission to do that, and they will be confronted by the places where they're out of alignment without you trying to save or fix them. This way of being that I'm pointing to will create the best possible chance of that happening when you can use what's happening in your relationship as an inflection point to come into as much possible alignment and trust within yourself as possible. They will either join you and begin to join you into a place of health, because I believe all humans actually want that. We want to operate from health. We don't want to operate from our lower selves. It doesn't feel good. Sure, we might get some type of kick from it at some point, or some familiarity, get dragged in the pattern, but ultimately, we're in a relationship because we want to create love, we want to experience love and express love. Trust that one of you has to go into health first, and the other might be inspired to join you. If they cannot and will not, you do not have to wait around indefinitely. You might realize that you have outgrown the relationship at that point, and you will be able to, without regret, walk away from the relationship. It still might be sad and upsetting, but at least you have been able to use what is happening in your relationship as a stepping stone for you to do some of the deepest work on yourself to come into that full alignment, so that you don't take anything that is on your side of the fence right now into the next relationship and experience the same dynamic again. I'd love to hear what you think about this video, what you think about the content. Where are you in your relationship currently? Do you find yourself falling into the dreaded drama triangle? What position do you find yourself occupying? How have you gotten out of it in the past? If there's any questions you have or anything you want to share, please comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I've got a guide for you called The 5 Secrets to Creating Extraordinary Love, the distillation of over 12 years of coaching with my one-on-one clients. Check it out. It's in the description below this video, and I'll see you in the next one.